let's start up in this corner. The submitter of this replay today is Dutchy, who is another streamer that I encourage you to go check out on his stream. He's got a fun stream. He's laddering, moving up the ladder, and his Infernal, I think, is his best race. And I like to watch him play Infernal because I'm an Infernal player too. And recently, creeping above 1800, getting closer and closer to 1900 MMR, which of course is the cutoff for the Masters, and I believe at the moment ranked in the top 300 on the leaderboard. So definitely maybe one of the more skilled of my online friends. I'm not quite so high in the MMR rank, although I'd like to be there one day. I blame all of my inadequacies for not being masters, and well, that's enough about me. Let's see what this imp is doing. What is this imp doing? This is maybe a little bit of the cheese I was talking about. There is a Shroudstone going down. For a while, this wasn't even really cheese. This was just meta. This is just what you did. You walked your imps over and you made Shroudstones. But I think the Celestials, in this case, I haven't introduced our Celestial player Koo-uo, who is playing the Blue Celestial. Do they know what the response is? And in this case, it looks like it's some creation chambers going down. They are being overcharged. Is that what it's called? Surge. Surge. Overcharge is what bobs do. Surge is what buildings do. Now they're in red power right now. And the Shroudstone going down, putting some Shroud on the map. The Hexen did teleporting away. An unfortunate thing about this super laser is it doesn't attack buildings, so it cannot be used to defend against the Shroudstone. I'm sure that's something that Celestial players would love to see changed. I, as a non-Celestial player, am afraid of Sovereign's Watch and would not like to see any buffs to it in any regard. So that's my completely biased Infernal messaging on that. And we do see a power bank going down, which is not great because this is red power still. But luckily, these Argents that were pumped out were able to take care of the Shroudstone. And for the moment, stabilize Koo-uo, who now has a cool little creeping force at least, while waiting for those power banks to get back up. And Dutchy taking advantage of this to, looks like go a little bit of an eco, although we see a second vault coming down. And we have, yeah, that's a farm down there while creeping is happening at the health camp here. Now, I'm trying to see. I know he went vault first, but I think this shrine is fairly fast because this shrine is coming up. It's already finished. We see our first imp out at about the 3-minute mark. I think that was a quick vault shrine with a second follow-up vault. We got 3 imps on Therium. What does that mean? We don't have a conclave yet, so it might, yeah, Hell Porch. It looks like maybe upgrades. This is a build I've been trying to experiment with, and not to a lot of success, I might add, because I'm not doing it as well as Dutchy's executing it right now, which is trying to go for those upgraded brutes and maybe seeing what that does in maybe a timing attack. The brutes come out with upgraded armor, and then they also split into 3 fiends instead of 2, meaning they can be pretty good against an Argent mix. Now, pretty good unless the Argent Ball gets pretty big, and this Argent Ball is already looking like, unless you have a lot of fiends, you're not just going to surround that and deal with it. So we'll see what Dutchy chooses to do. Is there an upgrade going down? It looks like there. Oh, it looked like there might have been, and it was canceled. I saw some kind of animation there, but there are some animation, let's call them bugs at the moment, that happen in observing. If you look at certain things, they will undergo animations every single time you look at them, even though they shouldn't be. Another brute being taken down, and we now have more brutes reinforcing. Those fiends, again, are pretty good. There's not really a huge number of them yet, but yeah, if they can get us around on a couple Argents like we see here, then it's harder to micro those Argents away, even though we see Koo-uo trying to do that. a couple of them still going down because of sort of partial surrounds. It's pretty hard to get a full surround, I've noticed so far with the pathing, and that may just be something that will improve in time as Frost Giant continues to work on the pathing in the game. Of course, pathing is one of those technologies in the game that will continue to be improved, things like performance and graphics as well, but also is not something you can just sort of do once and get it right. You're always going to have to be fine-tuning it and working on those improvements. And we've already seen some pretty good improvements come out in this last patch that at least Infernal players are happy about, for instance with the Weaver. Looks like still Argents for Koo-uo. Creeping this camp, doing a pretty good job of that. Argents definitely managed to make a pretty good time if you get them in a good enough ball. Now you also want them powered up, and we don't have any power on these ones. It looks like no research yet for upgrades. We do have a Guardian Nexus, but we're also on red power again. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe there was a run by or something I missed, but yeah, strangely on red power, really low, minus 24. So we're gonna need a couple power banks to catch up. We have a third base going down at the double Luminite. An interesting choice. Luminite, of course, a great resource, but Therium is really what you need as an Infernal player. Although, because Dutchy has been playing primarily these brutes, he hasn't yet had to spend a lot of Therium on the rest of his tech, and that's been going into upgrades and tearing up into this greater shrine. Ooh, and we're just seeing that Soulforge Ascendance being finished, and now we're gonna see brutes. I think they're bugged out at the moment. The display is bugged out, so you can't actually see the upgrades here. But I'm pretty sure that one finished. Yeah, so we do have upgraded brutes now. What that means is they're going to have that 10 armor, even though Argents are good against brutes. So the armor is going to just help a little bit more. That's effective HP is what armor does in this game. So basically increasing their HP. But of course Argents, like I said, doing bonus damage against brutes. These fiends trying to get on top of this sort of one weak one. That's a nice sort of posturing force, but I don't think that those brutes can take those Argents. A lot of them were on full power, and those first few volleys are going to melt a lot of those brutes, and then you're just going to be left with maybe a handful left. And the DPS out of the brutes is just not great, partly because they're melee and they have that long attack animation. Here we have some fiends. Looks like they're just going for towers. And more brutes. Brutes. I like this. That's what I want to see how effective they are. But it looks like there will be a tech switch coming right up here. Now, I wouldn't call this cheese. No, but let's call it cheese since we're in our cheese replays. Let's say it's Spriggan cheese. But not really cheese. It's just going a pretty good strategy. I think these Argents are probably pretty good. Argents are good against most things. Against the Spriggans, although their bonus damage is too heavy, and Spriggans are light. Ooh, we see a nice Infest going down, but then the Purify clearing it off. That Purify is really great, especially on Argents. Power you up while taking those debuffs off. And this brute force deciding to back off, but now the Argents are moving down the ramp. They're going to take out this Shroud Zone, and some imps turning to fight. I like this. Don't let them go down without a fight. And now a bunch of fiends just wishing they could get in there, but oh no, they can't. So many fiends just running around, unable to get any surface area on those Argents. A little bit of a surround over here with some brutes coming in from behind, but a lot of imps going down. Finally, the imps being reassigned to mining. One benefit of that is so they will no longer be targeted by the Argents that are fighting. As long as they're attacking, the imps show up as army agents to the Argents, and they will fight back. But if they're mining, the Argents will focus on the army of Dutchy in this case. And so I think that went okay for Dutchy, but not super efficient trades and losing some imps there in that fight. Looks like a lot of the brutes have disappeared, but now we're seeing the first brigands coming out. And an Animancer and Kree added. Kree pretty good against a sort of more standard Infernal composition. They're not great against the brutes. They're pretty good against the fiends that come out of the brutes. And they're really good against gaunts. So sort of an infest gaunt play. Kree are a really good way to play against that. And they're also, I think, becoming a better front line for Argent mixtures like we're seeing here. Again, just doing that role of doing some tankiness and also providing a little bit of frontline damage. Now we see Spriggans coming across here. This is an interesting little force up here. Was that a creep force? I'm not sure, but these Spriggans, okay, scooting by the health camp, by getting on top of these prisms. We got a prism going down, and these Argents now coming in with a kind of mini little flank, but oh, the prism's right on top. Managed to get that Animancer, Spriggans, sorry, and the Spriggans actually doing the bonus damage to Argents. So I mentioned Argents might be kind of good against Spriggans. I was not really thinking about the fact that the Spriggans actually do bonus damage to them. So they, you know, even in a large number there, well, the Spriggans did kind of melt a little bit there. So again, it's interesting. We got fully powered Argents that have pretty good DPS against these Spriggans, although the Spriggans now are on top of their army. They're being able to use a little bit more as support units. It's sort of an interesting thing about the Spriggans. They've been set into a number of different roles here. Are they harass units? Are they a reliable air force? Are they support units for your army? And I guess I'm not complaining at the moment because they're managing to fill multiple roles. So there is a little bit of a confusion in there, but no complaints. And oh, I like this. The Fiend's trying to get a little bit of a surround. Oh, and that looks like that's going to be the end. A GG out of Koo-uo. And I've said that name 6 different ways so far, and I'll be happy to be casting another game now.